Hey, it's Rav. Welcome to the Everyday Investor TV show, the hottest investment show in the world. That's right. I said it. I don't care who knows it. This show is designed to help us everyday people become everyday investors, growing our money. You see, the challenge often is we take our precious time, we go to work, and if we have a job that we are blessed, I believe we're created to work, we get a paycheck in order to provide. We take our time, we go to work, we get paid so that we can eat. Imagine a life, though, where money could make you money, you could work a little less if you wanted to, and you could spend that time with family, friends, engaged in a purpose greater than yourself, something benevolent, something charitable. That is what this show is all about. Each week we interview guest experts in their strategy of investment so that you and I both can learn how to grow our money. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Coming up, we're talking to my good friend Alfonso, and he is teaching us the importance of education, investing in yourself.
It starts with getting education, getting the education first. Most people tend to just jump on programs and, there's obviously YouTube University. We are really good at the in-person events.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. I am talking to my good friend, godfather of real estate, Alfonso Cuadra. Alfonso, thanks for being on the show with me, man.
Oh my goodness. I remember, coming into the studio with you and having to fly down to Toronto and now we're just right here doing it online. You're in your office, I'm in my office, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, I don't know how many years ago, several years ago. And then, of course, we would speak for different real estate, education platforms such as Keyspire with Michael and Scott, and that was a lot of fun. And now you have your own called Wealth Genius, and we'll look at that in a second. But I miss being in studio because I don't get to give you a hug. On the other hand,
those are good ones.
That's right. On the other hand, I do like this way because now instead of me and you talking, to each other, profile look, and then, my precious viewers kind of looking at us speaking to each other, now we're both looking at the viewers. The viewers are kind of involved. It's like a CNN style where it's just three parties, kind of doing it. So that's a lot of fun. But listen, I know you have been incredibly busy. Obviously investing for yourself and your family. Now you have your daughters involved, which is phenomenal. Actually, I do want one of your daughters, the older one, Thalia. I always say it wrong.
Yes, Talia. Yes,
Talia. I want her on the show, so please connect me. I mean, how old is she now?
Absolutely, 28.
She's 28, but she got started at how old?
I would say. Before 20, she didn't want to hear about it because anything her dad did was not cool. Until she got into the workforce and realized, maybe dad was right about, creating time freedom. And so I would say roughly about 24 years old, she really started paying attention and I started to mentor her. The results that she has are her own results. I support her, I guide her, but she had to kind of make her own way, especially if she really wanted to do this, she had to kind of make her own way. So, I love it. And now the younger one now, because the older sister now is in real estate, she's starting to ask questions. The younger one is 17, Alicia.
Nice.
So I love it.
Well, great. No, it's great. It's great to be able to do that. And again, not to, make them, but, try to be a great example. And, it's good. I'd love to have her on the show. Yeah. And listen, I think we, have a kindred spirit in the sense that when you say wealth and you pick that terminology of wealth genius, it is much more than money. I mean, we're talking spiritual wealth, we're talking relational wealth, and yes, money can help us to enjoy family and friends and things that are benevolent, like your daughter is involved with benevolent things and being able to help others and do things that are bigger than herself. So wealth is not, get rich wealth. It's, again, spiritual, relational, and yes, money can help. And I think that's why I love talking to you, because there's a passion there that we all win. We can help people, make money. But when you're on stage, we don't just teach people how to make money. We teach people how to thrive and grow in relationship. And I think that's the most important. And I see that with you, with mom and your girls. And, that's the part that attracts me to somebody like you, Alfonso. Money, it's not hard to make money. And I say that, I don't want to minimize your intellect or my other friend's intellect, but it is hard to be great at relationships. I'll say that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyways, so you've been doing things. There's so much demand. When we got off the stages with COVID, people were reaching out to you, and then you felt like when it was time, you're going to start a group that started with a few people called Wealth Genius, and it's an education. What would you call it? An education network?
I would say it's definitely an education platform.
Platform.
Yeah, my mission in life is to inspire people to create time freedom. I got the gift of time freedom as a result of putting in the effort and building my real estate portfolio in my 20s. That moment came for me very early in age. I was 30 years old. I didn't have to work another day in my life. We're talking about 16 plus years ago. And so, I realized that life is about fulfillment. And so if I wanted to be fulfilled, what fills me up? What fills me up all the way to the top is helping people achieve financial freedom. Because I know if I help enough people achieve financial freedom, I know that they're going to do amazing things. They're going to spend time with their families. They're going to spend time, maybe in their church or, maybe with their communities. And so, when we're coming into COVID, it was scary for a lot of people, right? And it was a dark place, and I jumped online. I wasn't on, used to being on YouTube. I mean, as you know, I came from being in person events and, doing stage and working, flying all over the place, and, the world just stopped and everyone was in a dark place. So I jumped online and said, hey guys, this is the time to take action. And a lot of people started to, reach out, and, I started to create this group, this community. And shortly after 2022, when the thing started to open up, I thought surely everybody's going to start doing events. And so we said, you know what, let's just go everywhere as much as we can. And so we grew. We were able to grow in that time because guess what? No one came. Everyone was kind of used to doing virtual. And we became really, really good with the belly to belly, the in-person events. And I think that's been our big differentiator, the in-person events. No one does it quite like we do it. We're across not just Canada, but the U.S. as well. And everywhere we go we are well received and just pure blessings, pure blessings. The message is getting out there and people are excited.
And so how many members are part of Wealth Genius now?
Roughly now we've just hit 850 members.
Wow, that's great. And so how does it work? So there's obviously membership fee, and then for that they get your tutelage and they're learning. But now you have other people that specialize in different areas. For example, a mutual friend named Mandy. She may specialize in turnkey properties. You have another friend here there that they're also teaching in smaller cities. But with Wealth Genius, you're doing this expand, and then you do other things like how. So Rav, wants to be part of a community. My son wants to be part of a community. Talk to me a little bit about the practicality of Wealth Genius. How does it work? Obviously, we pay a membership fee, and then how am I being nurtured?
So before we go there, it starts with getting educational, getting the education first. Most people tend to just jump on programs, and there's obviously YouTube University. We are really good at the in-person events. So at the very least, where people start, it should be, hey, let's go to a 2-day boot camp. They're happening all over the country. And those aren't very expensive, but it will open your mind up to whether or not this business is for you.
Okay. And how do I find out where those events are?
Okay. If you go to Eventbrite, type in Alfonso Cuadra, the Godfather of Real Estate, or Wealth Genius, and then you'll see, when I'm coming to a city near you. Rav, in 2023, I've done 100 events across the country.
Wow.
Just in 2023 alone.
Wow.
So I'm probably coming your way at some point.
Well, listen, when you come to the GTA again, let us know, and we'll make sure we put that. I'm talking to the guys behind the camera here. We'll make sure we put that in, when we're in post-production, so people can go to that website to see when Alfonso is teaching. And I couldn't agree more.
That's where everybody starts. Just get introduced to it, right? I wouldn't recommend anybody to, invest any kind of money without at least understanding what is it that you're getting into, right? And it's not everybody. It's not for everyone, right? It's definitely not for everybody, and everyone has different levels of how they learn. And I definitely will encourage for people to get education, and it doesn't even have to be from us, right? But you gotta get the education first. When people ask me, Alfonso, where should I invest? Like, what's the next place? What's the secret neighborhood? Well, the best place to invest is in yourself, right? No one can take that away. That investment that you make in yourself, no one can take it.
I couldn't agree more. And again, we have a friend named Darren, and he's got something called Synergy. Like I said, Michael and Scott with Keyspire, you're doing this and you're live, and it's fantastic. And again, the point is education. The point is knowledge. I always preach 3 things. 1, knowledge mitigates risk. The more knowledge you have, the more it mitigates any risk. I use this analogy all the time. We had some dead trees cut down in the backyard. I looked at that guy with a chainsaw and I thought to myself, he's just with one hand cutting off branches. And if that was in my hand, I would only have one hand left. Trust me. Knowledge mitigates risk. Knowledge also breeds confidence. When people are fearful, the more you know, the more it's going to breed confidence. Is the second thing I teach. But then thirdly, like you said, and I appreciate you saying it, you got to be able to sleep at night. This is not for everyone, but you'll never know if it's for you or not unless you come to one of these events. So no, thank you so much for sharing. I want to know Alfonso's mindset right now as we're in 2024. What is your mindset? We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, what is Alfonso investing in now? Don't go anywhere. We're talking to my brother, Alfonso Cuadra, Wealth of Knowledge, a company, a platform called Wealth Genius. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Omar Khan here from Data Trading, and welcome to the Market Minute and 2024. Let's recap 2023 to see how everything went. Well, 2023 was a pretty good year. The TSX was up 8%. The S&P 500 was up 24.2%, and the NASDAQ was up 43%. Now, this is coming off a pretty bad year in 2022. So what propelled the markets forward in 2023? Well, it was the anticipation of interest rate cuts. Now, when the economy is poor, banks have to raise interest rates to slow the economy down, slow inflation down, and that's not good for the stock market. It's clearly not been good for the real estate market. Now, that took place in 2023, but no rate cuts have. Now, rate cuts are expected in 2024. And the stock market is a forward-looking mechanism. It's looking forward and saying, you know what, rates are coming, rate cuts are coming, excuse me. Because it knows this, it starts pricing this in earlier. Now, if rate cuts don't come in as robust as anticipated, it might not be great for the stock market. However, if the economy falls apart even faster and rate cuts are quicker than anticipated, that could be really good for the stock market. The wild card out of all this is the US presidential election, which is in November of 2024. The Democrats are going to want to have the economy in pretty good shape and the stock market performing well. Why? Because it's their best chance to get reelected. Let's see what happens. Back over to you, Rev.
Hey, it's Ralph. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. I am talking to Alfonso Cuadra, founder of the Wealth Genius platform. People can go to the website there and find out when he's coming to your city to be able to teach for a couple of hours. Alfonso, thanks for being on the show with me. We've known each other for a long while, and I'm happy that you're teaching people. I mean, my platform for teaching, is on TV, sometimes via podcast, but you're doing it live and in person. And that's very. It's great that you're being able to do that. And again, teaching your kids the same thing. Now, when it comes to that, when someone says to you, like your daughters come to you and they say, Dad, what should I be looking for based on your knowledge, Dad, because I have you as a dad, what should be my return on investment? When I put $1 out there on an annualized basis for Alfonso and his family, you don't want it to be less than what? Like if somebody's, puts it in mutual funds, they would say, yeah, if you can get 4 or 5%, you're doing really well. And that's great. And that's true for them. But for Alfonso and what he's done over the, 16 years, or prior to that, rather, you started in your early 20s. What would you say? What is the return on investment at a minimum that you feel good about for you and your loved ones?
My daughter, let's go there. My oldest, Talia, hopefully she can get on your program. But, she asked me this very question. She's like, Dad, what should I invest in? Or I want to buy a house, right? She wanted to buy a house or a condo. And I said, well, what really matters is what does your portfolio look like, right? Because if you can go out and build an actual portfolio that can feed you, not just right now, but ongoing, and not just for you, but for your kids and my future grandkids and my future great grandkids or whatnot. Now we're talking about true generational wealth. So people are so stuck on specific numbers. Like, okay, I can say, hey, you should get a 10% return, or, at a very minimum, 15% return. But the thing is, if you're getting a 15% return on a smaller asset, for example, like a duplex that's worth like $600,000-700,000, well, I'd rather get a 2% return on an asset that's worth $100 million, right? And so what I've told my own daughter, and I said, look, I want you to stretch yourself a little bit. I want you to think bigger, right? Go after, deals that they're going to be in your portfolio for about 20 plus years. And so that changes the way you look at investing, right? One of the biggest mistakes that I made in my early 20s when I started is that I was thinking too small. Now, people may say that, how is that even possible? You're the godfather of real estate. How can you have been thinking too small? Well, I did spend a lot of time, in smaller deals because my mind couldn't I couldn't get my head wrapped around these bigger assets until one day I did. And I thought, whoa, this is much easier than what I was doing before. And so what happens with people is they're going to go out and build their portfolio based on what they think they can accomplish. And so what I ask people to do, including my own kids, is expand your mindset, stretch your mind. So now you are looking at the long term. And if you're looking at the long term, you're going to look at and go after bigger assets. And so to me, the most important number in real estate, it's really the number of doors. right? It's not the return. Of course, we have to have positive cash flow, but over time, if I have $100 million deal or a $20 million deal versus your $600,000 deal, sure, when it comes to the time to refi this asset, you're going to pull out, 50K, and that's cute, But what I want to do is make sure that when you get there, it's significant. And if you're pulling out $1 million, $2 million from an asset, to me that's life changing, right? And that's how you truly create time freedom, is by looking at your portfolio and making sure you have good quality assets in your portfolio.
Sure. And again, you did mention, it's not for everyone. So there's going to be those types of people, and hence, the big event that's coming up called Expand. But there's going to be a couple people that love their day job and they just want 2-3 properties, and I know you've taught it before. Well, if you just want 2-3 properties, then make sure it's going to appreciate, make sure someone's paying down your mortgage, make sure there's a little bit of cash flow. If you're putting 20-30% down, it should spit you out 20% annualized returns. But what you're saying is, if you truly want to have time freedom, then we've got to look at the big picture. Don't be concerned on 1 or 2 or 3 doors. You can look at 20, 30, 50, doors. So on that note, because I know right now what you're doing is you are buying land and building multifamily. You're building apartment buildings on that land. You're not even buying, an undermanaged apartment building and, cleaning it up. You're actually buying land and building. But take us back to what you started doing almost a couple of decades ago or whatever it was, over 2 decades ago. What did you start doing? Tell me about how you evolved and why you land where you land today in early 2024.
Yeah, so you know what? I started right there, value add, right? Taking underperforming assets, going in there and figuring out how I can reposition it, right? And it's not just always the income, is how can I reduce the expenses? And, running it for a while and then maybe either exiting through a refi or a sale. I spent a lot of time there. I built actually my entire career. I would say 80% of my career is spent doing value add deals. The issue is it's very time intensive, right? And management intensive. And you might want to start somewhere, but at some point you have to have very specific lifestyle goals. And I think everybody has very specific lifestyle goals. For me, what lights me up is doing this right here, being with you, creating content, helping people. And so if I was going to scale that value add business, it would be very difficult for me to do it without being, really, really hands-on. I love the idea of, newer buildings, right? Because you got this beautiful honeymoon period, and the entire team that we've created we pretty much have created a system. And so how do we transition from buying these older apartment buildings, repositioning these apartment buildings to new or land development or construction? Well, we had to build a business, right? Most people, like you said, are going to buy 1 or 2 properties, and that's good. I mean, if you're happy and that's all you needed. And if you make one move, you buy 1 extra property, you will definitely change the trajectory of what your retirement looks like. But there's some people out there that might want to live now, right? You want the freedom now. I was in Greece last year, and I don't know why this was, but I was in a hotel with a lot of older people. And I'm like, what brings you here? And they're like, well, back in 1965, I promised Margaret that we'd come to Greece, and here we are. I'm like, excellent, guys, let's enjoy. Let's go for dinner tonight. Oh no, my back hurts, and I don't have any time. We're gonna go nap. So most people, they get to enjoy the fruits of their labor later in life, when they don't have energy, when they don't have the same health. And so the way I look at things is I want to enjoy these things today, right? And so again, if you have a beautiful career, you got 1 or 2 units, that's great, and I would encourage you to continue doing whatever it is that you're doing. But if you're looking to transition and replace your income, there's nothing better than multifamily. And if you're going to get into the multifamily space, you got to create a business around it, right? And this is kind of what I love to teach people: how to create a business, a system that you can walk away from, and it's still operating. Now, the next level is the new builds, the land development, and so this is kind of like a big transition that we've made in our business, and we're going back since like late 2020, and so now I fall in love with this new style of investing. It's lean and clean, brand new apartment buildings. But I wouldn't encourage people to start there for sure. I would say start exactly where I started, repositioning older, underperforming properties, but build a business so then you can continue to scale and grow.
So tell me about your latest one. So your latest, build, you bought some land where?
So we got a few builds actually happening. So the way I started in this business, we started by buying directly from builders, very similar to pre-construction condos, except that I'm not buying 1 unit, I'm buying all 60. Right? So I'm buying it. It's called the forward agreement. There's a builder, has a rendering that they're going to build, 60 units on a property, and I come along and say, listen, I'll buy them from you, all of them, by the time you build, you're done the build. So that's a forward agreement. Right now, because of a lack of builders in the industry, I have to now build my own. And so basically we buy a lot. I don't like to do too much work. There's a lot of great land developers that find a lot and upzone it and get all the permits. I kind of like shovel-ready stuff, and basically, I will buy something shovel-ready from a land developer that's already done the work, and it's just ready for me to come in and start building.
Got it.
And that's kind of the strategy. There's a lot of great programs right now with the government. The lending right now for commercial apartment buildings, as you know, it's cheaper than it is for residential. Right. So depending on when this is going to air, currently we're sitting plus prime, let's say around, 6+% or whatever, 7%, 8% to be able to borrow for apartment buildings doesn't make sense. And so we work with lenders that fix their rate from the bond market. Right now, the last time I saw, the bond market is at 3.62%. We're getting great mortgages, great terms, longer amortization. And so there's a lot of great government incentives to get people to build units, because as you know, in the next 25 years, there's 20 million people coming to Canada.
Yeah.
Where are they going to live, right? Yeah. And so it's a great space to be in. It's a great space to create true generational wealth in all facets of wealth. And I would definitely encourage for people to at least look into it.
Listen, Alfonso, it's great to catch up with you. Always inspiring by your slow-paced hustle, meaning you're not hustling so much that you can't enjoy the things that matter most, but you're always thinking and being progressive. So I really appreciate that. People can find out about where you're teaching, by going to the website. Thank you so much for being on the show with me. Really appreciate it.
Hey, brother, thank you so much. Anytime.
Yeah. And thank you to the viewers for watching. Without you, we would not have a show. To watch the show again or to see any of our other episodes, please go to everydayinvestor.com. It's like kind of watching on demand. Until then, we'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon. Bye, everyone.